I think it's going. I think the recording is going, gamers. But we're back with another week of this shit. So we're going to go through like we did last time, or we're going to do the bigger news, down to the smaller news, down to the chat picks news. Join the Discord if you want to chat pick some news. Our first story comes out of Polygon gamers. Nicole Carpenter on Polygon talking about there's a couple players suing Ubisoft for shutting down the crew servers. As you remember, flipping over, Ubisoft did turn off the servers for this game, and there was no other modes. There's no offline mode or anything, so everyone just loses access to the game because they decided they don't want to keep the game up anymore. So this talks about two California gamers are suing Ubisoft in a proposed class action lawsuit over the developer and publisher's recent shutdown of the racing game The Crew. Server infrastructure and licensing constraints. After the server shut down, the game became I'm looking for my mouse. Found it. Became totally unplayable due to lack of a single player offline modes. Ubisoft offered refunds to people who quote unquote recently purchased the game. Given the age, most of the players were unable to get the refund. They gave a weird example of a pinball machine, which we could skip. So they're saying by allegedly misleading players into thinking they were buying a game when they were merely licensing it, even if a player bought a physical disc. Second, that Ubisoft falsely represented that the Crew's files were on its physical disc to access freely, and that the discs weren't simply a key for the game. Ubisoft is violating California consumer protection laws, the lawsuit alleges. Both plaintiffs, they bought the game between 2018 and 2020 on discs, saying that they wouldn't have bought it or something if they had known. So they're looking for the court to approve the lawsuit as a class action, meaning that other crew players may get involved. So they're looking for monetary relief and damages for those impacted by the server shutdown. The lawsuit follows a campaign from YouTuber creator Ross Scott to urge companies to stop killing games, a movement that kicked off after the Crew announcement was made. The Stop Killing Games movement is petitioning the European Union to force games companies to keep games in playable states. It currently has more than 379,000 signatures. I don't know how possible that is or plausible that is to have every game that comes out be in a playable state. I guess they would have to make sure every game had a offline or story mode or single player mode. That would be my guess, because there's no way to keep live servers on indefinitely for every game. Ubisoft has not commented on this, so we'll see what happens, right? I mean, it does suck. It's funny, where's the part that said what Ubisoft offered to do? Ubisoft responded to the criticism and vowed to include offline versions of its existing games in their Crew franchise, like the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest. So they said, hey, we're sorry that the Crew got shut down, but we promise to make sure the Crew 2 and Crew Motorfest will be playable, right? Who wants that? Not the people that play the Crew 1, apparently. So we'll see what happens here. It should be fun. Next up, we got a few stories about the new GTA trilogy update that happened recently. So this is VGC. So Rockstar has updated the GTA trilogy with some graphical lighting stuff, but also some other things apparently. So this is Andy Robson at VGC, but this goes on to another couple other stories here. So there is a pretty decent update, according to what we can see. It's been 3 years since this game came out. That's wild. The patch notes simply note that a classic lighting mode previously added to the mobile version last year has been added to consoles. By itself, this appears to have improved the trilogy's visual significantly. But fans have noted there are more changes than Rockstar has mentioned. So there's some comparison tweets that have come out. So they've discovered so far that there's new fire, rain, fog, and glass breaking effects, new and fixed animations, extra bloom and lighting effects. You can also now run while aiming certain weapons, pause cutscenes, see date and time information on game saves, view their correct position on the world map, and more. So there's just some random Twitters that have a comparison. So this is old version, new version. So a little bit more dynamic lighting. It looks like some of the textures are a little bit better, but that could just be the lighting. We've got the beach here. This one I don't like as much. It just made everything really green blue. I like the sky and watercoloring here a lot better, but obviously the land texture here on the new one is way better. Or that could just be hidden by the fog. There's another comparison here. Got some more Vice City stuff here. So a lot of mostly lighting, but there's new animations, right? What is this? So this is the original animation, and then this is the new animation. Way better. Because what is this? What is happening here? What is happening here? So a decent amount of updates, which is pretty cool, because it definitely didn't release with any sort of significant differences from the original releases. Just like smoother frame rates, I think it was. At launch, the remasters were heavily criticized for a significant number of technical issues, as well as unintended documents found within game files, such as unlicensed music and developer notes. But it still sold a lot. But there was a follow-up to this where, in this patch, they also removed one of the major developers of the trilogy, like out of the splash screen and stuff. So they removed Grove Street Games credits from the start of the trilogy there. However, one of the other changes is the apparent removal of Grove Street Games logo at the start of each game and references to them in the game's copyright blurb. So this is Chris Scully in VGC. So they loaded up the game. They said, hey, this is different from the old one. So Grove Street Games was one of the main developers behind the definitive edition, but when it was released in 2021, players quickly criticized how it looked, citing odd character models, a complete lack of fog, issues with the rain effects. I remember when you just couldn't see, like when I first was playing it, you just couldn't see anything when it rained. And poor quality AI upscaling, which added typos to numerous in-game shop signs and billboards. When the definitive edition was ported to mobile devices in December 2023, it included a new classic lighting mode, which players praised for looking much more authentic and in line with the original version's art style. The mobile versions were instead handled by Video Games Deluxe, a team made of former members of LA Noire developer Team Bondi. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. So it's based on VGD's work. And then there's another follow-up where the CEO responded to this. This is back to Andy Robinson, VGC. So they're not happy that it was removed from the opening credits. Grove Street Games CEO Thomas Williamson has responded to the move, which seemingly came as a surprise to him, writing on Twitter. The owner criticized Rockstar for the opening credits removal and claimed that his team was behind hundreds of fixes added in the recent update. This is a quote from him. Speaking entirely hypothetically, it's a dick move to remove primary developers from the credits in an update, especially when an update includes hundreds of fixes that were provided by those developers that stayed out of players' hands for years. So they're not happy about it. This is the last update on this, is that they were like, hey, you guys are dicks. Directly from the CEO of the developer, which is pretty darn funny. I love this. I hope we see more of this, and I also hope they get put back in the credits, because that's kind of lame. Moving away from GTA, we've got Tequila Works files for insolvency, which sucks. This is GamesIndustry.biz, Vicky Blake. So I think the last time we did talk about they have layoffs recently. I'm proud of what the team has accomplished together, but prolonged marketing conditions. This is the appointed general manager, Terrence Mosca. The prolonged marketing conditions means the Madrid-based Tequila Works has no option but to file for insolvency. Consequently, Tequila Works founders have stood down and Mosca has been appointed general manager. So they worked on games like Rime. Rime is their big game. We're doing everything we can to provide support and guidance to our teams during this difficult time. Tequila Works was established in 2009 and developed games like Rime and Guilt, as well as co-developing and publishing The Sexy Brutale. In 2022, it secured investment from Tencent, and though it laid off a number of staff last month, the cuts were seemingly not enough to keep the studio afloat. So everyone's done. So they can't pay their stuff, their bills, so they're now insolvent, which sucks. I mean, to be fair, I mean, what I remember from Rime, it looked okay. I don't remember anything about Guilt at all. I don't remember this game at all. It does not look familiar. This came out in 2019. But I do remember Rime. Rime seemed pretty okay. And it's just another week of this baloney here. Next up, we got Bethesda workers go on strike for a day. This is Inverse.com. Shannon Liao. So hundreds of Bethesda video game workers who work on titles like Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls are going on strike across the country. Workers in Maryland and Texas are walking off the job, claiming that the company has failed to address the remote work concerns at the bargaining table and has begun outsourcing quality assurance work without the union's agreement. So, Microsoft bought them, in 2021 for 7.5 billion, which is more than Star Wars. I believe that's more than Star Wars. I think Star Wars was like 3 billion or something like that. So they've been attracting workers and stuff. Microsoft said, we respect our employees' rights to express the point of view that they have done today. We will continue to listen and address their concerns at the bargaining table. So the quality assurance test lead, or one of them, who helps supervise employees who test Bethesda games for bugs, said that she was excited. They're like, hey, we're all super ready for this day of strike. We're all just gonna hang out and strike, which is cool that they're striking, but don't talk about it like that. The union is looking to limit the percentage of quality assurance testers the company outsources in comparison to the number of full-time workers present in its bargaining unit. It would not share details on where Microsoft has chosen to outsource the labor from. The union is also seeking a more flexible remote work policy. ZeniMax workers are currently required to go to the office twice a week, and many of the union says are being denied their remote work requests, and they've ignored the union's remote work proposal. Said that a senior quality assurance tester in Rockville, Maryland, said that several testers would be forced to move or find a new job if they had to come into the office all 5 days because they were hired during recent remote work years under different circumstances. Striking isn't fun or ideal, but there's a satisfaction in having a concrete physical action we can do to fight for better work conditions, Dowell said. Hopefully, we can convince them to stop dragging their feet and meet us at the table. So that's perfectly understandable, right? They're hired at a time where it's mostly remote work. They probably didn't have to come in at all. And then it was switched over to hybrid to come in twice a week, which is doable for people that are like only several hours away from where the offices are. But once it becomes 5 days a week, no one wants to drive 2+ hours to work and back. That's just not doable, right? So you either have to find a new job or move, which no one wants to do either of those in this climate anyway. Which is, I mean, it's cool that they're striking. It's cool that they're able to do it because it's the biggest union in games, I think, at Bethesda. So it's awesome that they at least are able to do this, and I hope they get more fair deals from Microsoft, because I believe a lot of this started before or during before it was completely finalized with the merger and everything like that. So hopefully Microsoft does something cool. Speaking about Microsoft, we have a few Xbox stories to go through, so let me take out some of these tabs here. So Phil Spencer recently did a interview with Bloomberg, which obviously we can't look at that because we don't pay for that. But it was with Dina Bass or Bass, I don't know which one it is. This is the VGC article summarizing one part of it, so that they're looking for more acquisitions. Not really like aggressively looking, but they're just keeping their options open for more acquisitions, which the idea of isn't the worst, but in practice so far hasn't been great overall for the industry as a whole. This is Phil Spencer. So according to the publication, Spencer said he was interested in deals that may add geographic diversity, such as studios in Asia, and he was also interested in buying another mobile company to add to those acquired in the Activision Blizzard deal. We definitely want to be in the market. This is Spencer. We definitely want to be in the market, and we can find teams and technology capable to add what we're trying to do in gaming, and Microsoft absolutely will keep our heads up. However, he noted that no deals were imminent, and any that may be agreed are unlikely to be of scale of last year's Activision Blizzard acquisition, because they're still spending time to absorb that company. Spencer also identified China as a potential source of acquisitions, with Bloomberg noting that Age of Empires Mobile, released last month, was a collaboration with Tencent, which is, owns almost everything. It's been a good area for us to learn from creative teams that have real unique capability. The real opportunity is to partner with creative teams in China for global. So they reported a major jump in rev last month, probably due to the Call of Duty Game Pass thing. But you also have to take into account that they laid off like 2,000 people so far this year, probably more. So had they not laid those off, they probably wouldn't be profitable. So what was it? Was it good business decisions, or was it just cutting team members and stuff? Who knows? Further on in that interview, they also talked about whether or not Xbox exclusive games would appear on other consoles, which he's like, yeah, who cares? Which is great, because also, who cares? So he reportedly said he was pleased with the results of the first wave of multi-platform releases, and that Microsoft would bring more titles to the platform. So what's already there? Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded have already been converted to other platforms. Spencer said, "I do not see sort of red lines in our portfolio that said thou must not. Adding that it was too early to make decisions on the next version of Halo." He's previously said he wouldn't ever want to rule out any game coming to another platform. It was claimed that Xbox is considering bringing a newly remastered version of Halo CE to PlayStation, which would be awesome because hopefully they remaster the remaster and it looks even better, and you can flip through 3 different views of the game. That'd be so funny. Xbox has also reportedly weighed up the idea of releasing Gears of War, Flight Simulator, and Starfield for rival consoles. A PlayStation Halo box, that would be pretty sick. Spencer told The Verge in February, "I don't think we should, as an industry, ever rule out a game going to any other platform. To ensure long-term success for both Xbox and the industry as a whole, we must continue to evolve," which is completely valid, especially for Xbox, which is like, you know, not struggling as much as Nintendo, because we all know Nintendo's going under soon. It's a joke. But it's still struggling. I think this is from a different interview. Yeah, an interview with GameFile, which I don't have the exact link to. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it in time. This is Tom Ivan, VGC. So it's Phil Spencer talking about expansions and such. Discussed Xbox approach to releasing expansions for first-party titles in a new interview with GameFile. Raised the possibility of Microsoft capitalizing on large player bases provided by Game Pass by leaning more heavily into paid expansions. Spencer said there's no top-down mandate on expansions, and not every game will do expansions. It's really left to the creators what they plan for, what they have for their stories. I think it's a great way for us to re-engage players who may be lapsed. I don't like expansions that are manipulative. I want it to have a unique point of view. I don't want it to be like the 3rd level that you cut before launch. So that's great. Listen, everything that he's saying, fine. We have to see how it is put into practice, into the real world. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't think there's been anything major except for Starfield in a while, so we shall see. And then also, speaking of Xbox, they're doing a new marketing campaign titled "This Is an Xbox." We can watch this new campaign trailer because it's a little bit funny, but it's also like it's a commercial, but it shows that they're starting. This is like the beginning of them going into what we've been talking about, what a lot of other people have been talking about, where they want. I mean, Phil Spencer has said they're going to keep making consoles, but how they're moving away from everything only being on the console and having you be able to play Xbox stuff wherever you are at any time, right? We're gonna get struck for that, so we're gonna mute that. Leave this on. So it's everything. This is an Xbox. So that's your handheld is an Xbox. Is that ROG Ally? Hold on, let's go here. So obviously you got the Series X. You got the TV is also an Xbox by itself. It's your TV with a smart TV. This is your phone. That's also an Xbox. This is a ROG Ally, which is also an Xbox. This is an Xbox wherever you want. So like they're calling these things. They're preparing you, right? Your PC, Xbox. Your phone with your backbone. Your previous generation ROG Ally. This is the bento box, and that's an Xbox. You're watching this on an Xbox, which makes sense. No matter where you're watching this, it's gonna be on an Xbox. And the poster. This is Chris Scully in VGC, by the way. So this little poster thing. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox for your lap. This is an Xbox that tags along. This is a cat box. This is an Xbox that goes on the wall. This is an Xbox that makes calls. This is a bento box. This is an Xbox on the side, and it's a Fire Stick, it looks like. This is an Xbox that you wear. It's an Oculus. And this is still an Xbox, and it's a Series S. Pretty cheeky, pretty funny. It's just to get the consumers ready for the eventual, like, hey, just play this on your TV type stuff and get Game Pass. They're going to be leaning more heavily into the streaming services, for sure. But that's really it for the bigger news. We're going to go into the smaller news now. Some of the stuff that we missed, and then more of the newer stuff. So where we missed last time, it was the Astrobot sales. So Astrobot performed better than every platformer that's not Mario. According to GI.biz journalist Christopher Drigg, with knowledge of the PS5 exclusive sales, a month after its release, Astrobot sales were currently 34% higher than Sega's most recent flagship Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers, and 52% bigger than Activision's Crash 4. Astrobot has done better than basically every new 3D platformer game in the last 10 years, Mario aside. Obviously, you're never going to beat Mario at a platformer. No physical sales numbers as of when this came out, which was the 12th of last month to a month ago. But that's pretty cool. Everyone's been raving about Astrobot. Maybe we'll play it because everyone likes it so much. It's all like references to their PlayStation games and stuff like that. But the visually looks cool. It looks like a lot of fun. Maybe we'll play it at some point and like dust off the PlayStation. Another one that we missed last time. Steam now has licensing warnings on their launcher / store when you check out, because they California recently signed a new consumer protection law around digital purchases. So now you will see in there something that says, this is Jordan Midler, VGC. Update to checkout process, the proper digital storefront. A message now appears reading, a purchase of a digital product grants a license for that product on Steam. Which has always been the case, but it's new that it's required to have that like in writing, which is cool. I assume this is going to trickle down to even more launchers and storefronts, which is awesome. Continuing, another story we missed where Ubisoft says there's no plans to shut down XDefiant after Season 4, which when I read this was like, they're already at Season 4? Had no idea. Where's the promotion for this game? Who's still playing this game? This is Tom Ivan VGC, by the way. To be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after Season 4, wrote Mark Rubin on Twitter in response to comments published on the social media platform earlier this week. Someone who calls himself a game developer who knows some people claims to have heard from multiple sources that XDefiant could close after its 4th season if Ubisoft fails to attract more players. So they're saying there's no plans, which doesn't mean that they're not going to do it, but just that there's no plans for it. But he said, I've literally been in meetings as of last week to discuss our year 2 plans, but right now we are super focused on improving the technical experience, which includes netcode and adding more content for seasons 3 and 4. We have done very little marketing, so yes, our numbers are down, but that is just to give the team a little time to get the game in a better place before we do bigger spends on marketing to bring new players to the game and to bring back players that have left. And they're saying the game is not dying. Second time the monthly vote was denied claims that the free-to-play shooters days could be numbered. So it is free-to-play now. Or I forget if it released free-to-play. So that's cool. I mean, again, we don't like to see games shut down and people get laid off. So hopefully they pull this one out and it does good. We'll skip the next one because it's a trailer, so we'll do that last. So this was last month's Activision driving 43% jump in Microsoft. So this is the Microsoft sales numbers from last month that we were just talking about. So like I said, it's from Activision. The Call of Duty Game Pass combo there really boosts them. But again, you have to remember they laid off a ton of people. So what kind of rev is that? Right, when you take into account the saved pesto from putting people out of work. This was Tom Ivan VGC. We don't have to go through this one too much because again, we understand Call of Duty is going to be big no matter what. Another one was the taking over of mobile games. Pokemon TCG Pocket. This was mobilegamer.biz. Neil Long. So it's just about TCG Pocket just doing just giant numbers. I know someone around here that has been playing a lot of it, which is fine. Listen, you like the game, play it. I wish I had time to play games on my phone. So most of the estimated 12.1 million earned to date comes from players in Japan who account for 45% of the game's earnings, according to App Magic. Second biggest market by revenue is US, which represents 25% of the rev to date. After that, it's Hong Kong and Taiwan, each on 4%, and South Korea, New Zealand, and France on 3% total spending. So Japan is almost half of that. So almost 6 million is coming just from Japan alone, and the rest is spread out. 7.5 million downloads. This is as of last month, by the way, or the beginning of this month. So 2 weeks ago, basically, which is nuts. 10 million people worldwide have downloaded, and it's making millions per day. This is nuts. This is wild numbers here. We'll see how long it lasts, but they're constantly announcing new updates, and obviously they have so much, look at how different Pokemon Go is now from when it first launched, right? They have with Pokemon you can add so much stuff down the line, and it's gonna be amazing. Another one we missed last week. I think there's only one new story. It's new story from this week. that I have listed here. So Warner Brothers says Multiverses is one reason its gaming subdivision is substantially underperforming. So they're blaming, well, not they. It's literally just the head. What's his name? The CEO David Zaslav said that while he believed its studio's business, which encompasses film, TV, and video games, would see improvement in revenue in the future, he acknowledges that the video games arm is currently weak link, saying that we have 4 strong and profitable game franchises with loyal global fans: Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC, in particular Batman. We are focusing our development efforts on those 4 core franchises with proven studios to improve our success ratio. He notably didn't include Multiverses as one of the strong and profitable game franchises. And later in the call, CFO Gunnar Wenfels blamed the fighting game for contributing to a further year-on-year hit of $100 million in the games department in Q3. Results were impacted by games for which we took another $100+ million compared to the underperforming releases, primarily Multiverses, this quarter bringing total write-down year-to-date to over $300 million in our games business, the key factor in this year's studio profit decline. So they're pinning it all on this one game, which was like, another one of the things where it's, what did they think was going to happen? You know, this late in just gaming to try to put out a Smash Brothers competitor is wild. It's just wild, especially since Smash is still like so good. Wild. And then also you gotta, like, you can't even compete with Street Fighter, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat. Like, how can you? And they already own Mortal Kombat, so what the fuck is the point? Anyway, we'll do this one, and then we'll do the trailer, and then we're almost done. Let's open this hyperlink. So this is a newer, small story where Epic Games Fortnite, announcing that. Wait, did I put this one? Yes, I did. This is Tom Ivan VGC. Fortnite announcing that the OG Season 1 will be coming back in December, and it's here to stay. And then the first 10 seasons, I think, are going to come out on a monthly basis, they said. Where did they say that? OG is coming back, and here's to say, relive Battle Royale from the start and explore the OG map, collect OG loot, and relive OG seasons. Drop back in on December 6th. Today's announcement confirms in a recent report by Fortnite leaker Hypix, who said Fortnite OG would be returning permanently. They claimed last week that the first 10 seasons of Fortnite, which comprised Chapter 1, would be returning on a monthly basis. So that's exciting for people that play a lot of Fortnite. I don't, but it's cool that they get to do that. But now, like, everyone's doing it, right? Apex has the, like, OG mode or whatever. OW, Overwatch 2 has the OG mode. I still haven't played that. Maybe someday we'll play it before it ends. We'll see. But this is a cool story. And last of the small stories, there's been a new Bloober Team game announced, and there's a trailer for it that I really want to watch. It's obviously a little scary game. So Chronos: The New Dawn has been announced. Set for release in 2025 on Xbox and PC. Delve deep into the heart of a deadly struggle against overwhelming foes while combat-driven gameplay, all while uncovering the mysteries of a twisted time travel story. Oh no, the link is not... Alright, it still works, just the hyperlink is dead. We'll watch this in a second. The game takes place in 1980s communist Poland, a wasteland that has been affected by a plague known as the Change, but no other details. So they just did the Silent Hill 2 remaster or whatever, which did really good. They did a couple other... The Medium, right? I think is what they did, which was pretty good. Just very short. So let's watch this trailer, because it looks fucking rad. It's a little framey. Hold on. It's a little framey. Let's go 1080. Bloober Team. Those are big chess pieces. The flip. Oh god. He's all bloody. He's in the suit. Why is she okay? It looks so cool. Whoa. It's so much blood. Where did all the blood come from? Why is everything so floaty? That's checkmate right there. Easy. Jeez. Oh, it's got a little tail thing. Oh, it's check. I lied. He's gonna forfeit. Let's go. Forfeit. It's time for you to die. What is the context for this? Huh? He's mad that he lost. Kronos, the New Dawn. Whoa. It's the change. Get a little bit of gameplay here. Ew. There's so many bodies. Oh, there's multiple there. So yeah, we're playing that. It looks so cool. I'm ready for it. This was Jordan Midler, VGC, by the way. All right, we're gonna run through some chat picks, and that'll be it for gaming news for today or this week. We're gonna quickly. I'm gonna start with one that I missed a while ago and didn't even realize it until recently because it was like buried. This is about GTA 6, where Brian Gar tweeted, "Dang, I guess I actually knew what I was talking about." Where it's a story in September. A few months ago, the person who first reported on GTA 6 Project America's leak gave some new information that basically confirmed the original 2018 report. Brian Gar, who was an ex-writer for The Know/Inside Gaming and also the person who first received information about Project Americas, went on a podcast earlier this year, said that his original report came from someone who had previously confirmed their legitimacy and connection to Rockstar. He said that after The Know reported on Project Americas, Rockstar flipped out and locked down their offices in order to find the source of the leak. The vice president at Rockstar contacted him to find out who gave him the information, say that Brian got a lot of the details right in the report, but not exactly all of them, basically confirming the original leak. So that's pretty funny. Brian Gar was right the whole time. And he says, "Dang, I guess I actually knew what I was talking about," which is so funny. So was it Wii U? Yeah, Wii U and 3DS servers were shut down, but a couple players attempted to keep the servers up. This one is Catherine Lewis at Games Radar. So a couple players tried to keep the servers up as long as possible by doing, putting up like what do they call it? Implementing a patch which supposedly prevented the death of the lobby. So they logged in, had some like CPUs race each other. It was two accounts. It was Fish Guy 6564 and Mario is Cool 246. Mario is Cool crashed out at some point, but Fish Guy, he went on, but eventually after 210 days, his DS did eventually crash, and the servers were officially shut down for the 3DS. They were playing Mario Kart 7, which is pretty funny. Next, so Ubisoft is promising some more Star Wars Outlaws fixes. This is Dustin Bailey, Games Radar, promising a lot of improvements. I'm starting to feel bad about thinking this was funny, but the first dev update post is by Drew Reckner, who's taking over as creative director now that Julian Garrity is moving onto the Division 3. Reckner highlights the big stealth fixes for certain story missions and other fixes that Ubisoft recently deployed. Speaking as a result of fan feedback, but says there are still several key areas the team wants to improve in future updates. The first key area of improvement to the game is combat, where we see a real opportunity to add more depth and excitement to the experience, further rewarding your tactics and precision. Our second key area is stealth, which is not only about improving the readability and consistency of enemy detection, but also providing choice in how you want to approach each encounter, which is something we were struggling with yesterday, and we have been struggling with while playing Star Wars Outlaws. Finally, our third key area of focus is centered around the character controls, which means improving the reliability of cover, increasing the responsiveness of climbing and crouching, and generally improving the consistency of the controls overall. Again, more things we've been struggling with since we've been playing. This update will land on November 21st, along the Steam version and the game's first DLC pack. Already a DLC pack as well. So we've got, today's the 15th, got less than a week. So by the next time we play the game, hopefully, it'll be a little bit better. Another chat pick. This is IGN, Wesley Yinpool. Just talking about how Death Stranding just shadow dropped. That's not what I clicked. Button. I clicked pause, you fuck. Just Death Stranding shadow dropped on Xbox on the 7th, so about a week ago. The director's cut, along a 50% launch discount, which is awesome. I still haven't played this game. I'm gonna try to play it before the next one comes out. I don't know if it's a streamable. I don't know if it's something to stream because it's a lot of just walking around with boxes and stuff. So we'll see. But I do want to play it because it looks cool. It just looks cool, and it's a Kojima game. Next one is GOG, which I don't use, but I might start using more. This is PCMag.com. Is starting to make an effort into game preservation online. So they're trying to preserve old PC games and keep them playable. So the preservation program announced as GOG.com celebrates its 16th anniversary is launching for 100 games, including favorites such as System Shock 2, the original Diablo game, and Myst. The goal is to ensure that old school PC games survive the transition to more modern OSs. By maintaining these iconic titles, GOG helps you protect and relive the memories that shaped you, DRM free and with dedicated tech support, it says. So they're looking to dedicate its own resources to making sure that a lot of these old games just stand the test of time, which is cool. Hell yeah. So there is preservation efforts go beyond merely ensuring compatibility with Windows 10 and 11. GOG.com says the 100 games in the preservation program have been re-released with updated or quality test builds to fix any bugs that could prevent it from running smoothly. So as they get going with this, more games are going to be added to the list, which is awesome. I love this. Keep it going. And our last story for the day, for the week, is Concord. It's still dead, but we're still talking about it. This is Wesley Yinpool, IGN. So it was Sony talking about how they should be, or how they should have done more user testing and internal evaluation earlier on Concord. Currently, we are still in the process of learning. Who said this? Financial call. Sony president, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki said the company has learned lessons from both the record-breaking launch of Helldivers 2 earlier this year and Concord's massive failure. Currently, we're still in the process of learning, basically with regards to new IP. Of course, you don't know the result until you actually try it. So for our reflection, probably we need to have a lot of gates, including user testing or internal evaluation and the timing of such gates. We need to bring them forward. We should have done those gates much earlier than we did. So they're like, hey, maybe we should have just actually tested the game. And then went to point fingers. Totoki then went on to point fingers at Sony's siloed organization and Concord's release window, which may have caused cannibalism or cannibalization. Concord launched in August, not long after Smash Hit Black Myth Wukong hit PS5 and PC. We have a siloed organization, so going beyond the boundaries of those organizations in terms of development and also sales, I think that could have been much smoother. And going forward in our own titles and in third-party titles, we do have many different windows. And we want to be able to select the right and optimal window so that we can deploy them on our own platform without cannibalization so that we can maximize our performance in terms of title launches. That's all I have. So again, they were complaining, hey, why didn't they just launch it on Steam at the same time like they did with other things or other studios and stuff like that. So we'll see what their next thing is, if they even take another risk like that, because that's the biggest risk in gaming history and it was a flop. It's just so many people lost money, so many jobs were lost, studios shut down. Insane. But we've talked about this to death. We probably won't have another story unless it's like a major thing about Concord. Concord is dead, and it is unfortunate. and it's never coming back unless you watch that new Amazon show about the video game things. There's still a Concord segment in there. They haven't taken it out, so that'll be the last we hear of it probably. But that is it for today for casual gaming news. I think it's a little bit shorter than last week, but still, we just took more time on the stories that we had instead of blasting through them like we did, which is fine. I prefer this over going through like 30 stories as fast as possible. So we're now fully caught up. Let's just double check here. We're now fully caught up on most of the major stuff within the time that we have. And thank you all for hanging out again for Casual Gaming News Friday. Hope to see you guys next time. Make sure to click the links in chat or go onto the YouTube or into the Discord to suggest more news stories to talk about. Any follow-ups or anything that we missed. So on and so forth. But that's going to be it for this week. Bye, guys.